So the situation, look, John Harbaugh and I are approximately the same age. So we both live in a world in which Twitter is not the real world. That's this other universe in which all this craziness goes on. But I fully understand that Lamar Jackson is of a generation where that feels like a very real world. So what is your reaction to this whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising. It's disappointing. I think that it speaks to how Lamar Jackson felt like that game went. Because he knows that the criticism is going to fall on him. And he knows that this season, every game is a referendum on how much money he does or does not deserve. But if you watch that game, like Lamar Jackson feels like he's doing the best he can with what he has out there. Like there were a couple dropped touchdown passes. And the guy that he normally can trust. And not only were there a few dropped touchdown passes, he led them on the game-winning drive and gave his defense a lead and at the end of the game that they could not hold on to. So then to go on to the internet, which he probably should not have, but to get the feeling that the conversation coming out of that game is that I don't deserve my money. Like I'm certainly not condoning what he did or what he said, and would not suggest that he does respond to people like that. But I can understand after that game feeling like me, y'all blaming me.
Look, we all knew, Marcus, going into this season that the contract, by not coming to a deal, both sides knew, the team knew and the player knew, this is going to be a story. It's going to hover over the season no matter what. How do you think that impacts what we are seeing here?
It's more pressure than just winning games. That's what it says to me. And look, it's no excuse for what Lamar responded with on Twitter, and we don't need to make one. He know that it was wrong. That's why the tweet was deleted. And I'm one of those guys. Me and Foxy has had a number of conversations, and he's got me more in touch with my emotional side because he told me men can be emotional and we can have feelings. But G, Foxy knows this, and you guys know this sitting up there. I just don't give a damn about what people say on social media. It does not bother me one iota. And to your point, G, this generation has this, this is their world, to your point. And for Lamar to come, all of these dudes go straight to their phone after games. They all try to claim that they tough and it don't affect them, but it does. And this response by Lamar Jackson lets you know that it's more, to Nick's point, this is about the game, but this is also about this contract and this off season and what Lamar is feeling pressure-wise as far as getting that done. Man, when you got $250 million sitting on the table, and you haven't got that done, and you don't feel like the appreciation is there, and I guess in some facet, it's more than just winning these games. He's playing well enough, but ultimately, this is what it comes to when these guys suffer or when they struggle or when their team struggles. They go to social media to try to either find validation or they find these tweets where people are talking about them crazy and they don't manage it well from a psychological standpoint, and this is the response.
Right, and the tweet wasn't about his performance in the game; it was about his contract. So I understand that that's what he's responding to, and that's obviously what's on his. It
was about the contract connected to his performance.
There were probably a lot of tweets about his performance that he didn't respond to. He responded to one about his contract, like they shouldn't pay him. Was the premise here? What I would say to Lamar is, look, you're a businessman. You're your own agent.
Yes.
You want to represent yourself here, right? Like, there is no benefit to you in having any conversation at all with anyone on Twitter ever, period. Don't do it. There's nothing to gain and everything to lose. And that, to me, is, if you're John Harbaugh, that's the message you're trying to send. Like, look, yeah, I understand you're upset. There's a reason they keep the locker room closed for 10 minutes after the game. It's called a cooling off period before they let us in to ask questions. Put in your own cooling off period. Don't go on Twitter until the next day.
Yeah, there's something very fundamental here. You're not the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. You're the CEO. You're the face of the franchise. Don't stoop to the level of people that are going to be jealous, that are just rooting against you. And that's what there's a time and a place to address.
This is where I'll push back a little bit. Yes, he should not do that. But you guys are implying that Lamar Jackson was affected by what this person said. What I'm telling you is Lamar Jackson knows that that's what people are thinking, people who actually matter. Right. He's not talking to that person.
Interesting.
He used that opportunity to tell whoever the decision makers are and us people who are up here who are talking about him and influencing the way that people feel about him to let y'all all know what y'all can do if you're suggesting that he does not deserve the money that he so clearly deserves.
Foxy, our job.
But the point is, he's talking to all of y'all.
So over the top angry that it seems like it's directed at the guy.
Yeah, it's not at him. He don't care about that man.
I don't know if it was that calculated. It probably wouldn't have been quite the same.
All right, I'm up against the bottom of an hour. I'd love to continue this. It is a conversation that will continue. We'll see how things go in Baltimore going forward. In the meantime, thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.